practice 2 at the final weekend of this season's ABB FIA Formula-E World Championship. We're here in Seoul, in South Korea, for the 15th and 16th round at the 2022 Hanabank Seoul E-Prix. Wonderful look down on this wonderful circuit. There is the baseball stadium, home to the LG Twins and the Doosan Bears, who play in the KBO League. But this is our own league this season, and it started in Saudi Arabia with De Vries and Mortara taking the victories. Mexico City was won by Verline, double win for Mitch Evans in Rome, and goodness me, how he would like to repeat that this weekend to give himself a shot at getting involved in the championship contention. It's Van Dorn who's at the top of the standings at the moment after his only win in Monaco, and Mortara is the only championship contender that has won a race since Monaco. And he is the man, third in the championship standings coming into this weekend. Mitch Evans is second, saying he's relaxed and the pressure's off because he is so far back, 36 points to be precise, from that man Stoffel Van Dorn, the Mercedes EQ driver, looking for his first Formula E World Championship and his first championship title since GP2 in 2015. And he's got a very good chance of doing it. He's 36 points ahead of Mitch Evans. 5 points then back from Evans to Mortara, with Jean-Eric Verne in third and Antonio Felix da Costa in fifth. A win for Lucas di Grassi last time out in London launched him up to sixth in the championship standings for the Rocket Venturi team. Another win for Jake Dennis also put him up into ninth in the standings, ahead of both of the Porsche drivers who haven't picked up many points in quite a while. Nick Cassidy, 12th in the standings. 13th is Sam Bird. He will be missing this weekend because of breaking his hand in London. And Antonio Giovinazzi, still the only pointless driver of this season. And as a result, those 2 points scored by Sergio Sede Camera in the second race in London are the only ones that he has, the Dragon have on the board. 5 points behind Neo. Mercedes EQ are at the top, and they are 46 points clear of Rocket Venturi, so they are looking in a very strong position to secure their second championship victory in a row. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me is Dario Franchitti, dressed head to toe in his actual overalls because he's just been driving this track. Tell us about it.
So actually, I do know what I'm talking about for once.
For the first time in Formula E history.
Exactly. Turns 2 and 3, very tight actually, turn 3. Chicane 5, 6 quicker than you think, down the hill into the stadium. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all really taken as one. Up the hill at 15, 16, the track widens out, very bumpy through 17, 18, 19, the wall comes out a bit on exit towards you. Turns 20, 21, very quick. They've smoothed the bumps off there since track walk yesterday. Turn 22, the main overtaking chance of the lap, and that is a lap of the Seoul E-Prix circuit.
I enjoyed the counting in the stadium section. It was really good counting.
Is that good?
Yeah, really good.
I've been practicing.
Dry at the moment here in Seoul, 28 degrees, track temperature and air temperature. Probability of rain increasing a little in the next, I don't know, hour, maybe a little over an hour is when we're maybe expecting some rain to come in. So there is a chance that if qualifying got rained off, the session times from free practice 2 would decide the grid. So I wonder if that will change people's approach a little.
Absolutely. I thought this morning we saw more qualifying simulations than we've seen in a while, and at full 250 kilowatts. Think about it as well. There's 3 points up for grabs. I think that's going to be super important for if Stoffel Van Dorn, quickest in free practice 1, if he can get those 3 points, he's just going to put the pain more and more on Mitch Evans trying to stop him. If Mitch Evans can get those 3 points for pole position, it gets him just that little bit closer and gets the momentum on his side for today and tomorrow.
New helmet for Stoffel Van Dorn, as this is his last race with the Mercedes EQ
Bit
team.
Star Wars, isn't it?
Yes, I guess it is. Eduardo Mortara's helmet is not Star Wars.
Not at all.
It's I don't quite know how to describe it. I think it's lovely. I actually think it's lovely.
Very Alexander Wirtz-ish.
Yes.
And Wirtz painted his own helmets. I wonder if Aero does too. It's really cool. I think it's different. Otherwise, most drivers nowadays have got like a carbon copy of each other's helmets with slightly different paint jobs. Not the case with Edo Mortara.
Absolutely, love it. Right, cars out on circuit. Mitch Evans making his way around turns 2 and 3, and then we come down towards the right-hander here of turn 4. The Jaguar TCS driver, as I mentioned at the top of the show, saying he's quite chilled, saying the pressure's off, And I do kind of, it almost feels like his disappointment of not winning the championship happened in London. And now it's like if he does win it, then great. But if he doesn't, that sadness has already existed within him.
Very good point. And I used to sort of say things like that to myself and in public. Oh yeah, you're almost lying to yourself a bit. But yeah, he's definitely. I think you're right. London was the, he left London just down. It wasn't his fault. Technical problem with the Jaguar, unfortunately, and he's just looking for a bit of rebound today. The question is the Jaguar going to be fast enough to challenge? It didn't look that way in free practice one. Whether that's because he just didn't get a clear lap, didn't find out.
Well, when James Barkley was asked about it at the end of free practice, he said, "Oh, it's only free practice one. Long way to go, etc." But
we didn't believe him either, did we?
No, exactly. Third in the championship is Eduardo Mortara. Second is Mitch Evans. Championship leader, Stoffel van Dorn. This is turn 22, and everybody queuing up here to get a bit of a gap before hitting the throttle pedal and coming into the first corner. Van Dorn was quickest in free practice one with a 1 minute 22.0, and we'll see what he can do today. And what is that like when you, going into a championship, decide you're and then you're first in free practice one, just like, all right, okay, this is great.
Yeah, you can't get too carried away. You've got to just stay focused on the big prize. The big prize is, oh, crikey, nearly the wall there. But yeah, he's got to stay focused on, he's doing the job right though, because he knows that if it rained between free practice 1 and 2, he's got the 3 points for pole position if qualifying's cancelled. So he's doing exactly what he has to do, and you're just trying to keep yourself. Don't get too excited when things are going well. Don't get too low when things are going badly. And it's almost like a microcosm of a season in a day. If he can do everything right today, he can leave here tonight with the Formula E World Championship.
Could win it today, Stoffel van Dorn. There's a lot of permutations, but broadly speaking, if he wins the race today, he is the champion. If he finishes ahead of Evans and Mortara, he is the champion. So that's got to be the target, naturally. But again, it's that whole one race at a time, and you're not looking and seeing where everybody else is around you. As Van Dorn does a 23.0, so a second off his quickest lap from earlier on, but that was at full power, and this is the first lap out of the pits. The track, actually, I thought this morning looked quite clean, broadly speaking. I was expecting it to be quite dirty. Some of the street tracks we go to you see the dust pluming up everywhere, and it looked in pretty good condition this morning.
Yeah, we saw a little bit, didn't we? A little bit of dust. Just coming back just now, it was very, very clean. The stadium's lovely. The surface in the stadium is so smooth. But the city streets that we see Lucas de Grassi going through just now, yeah, really well done. The circuit is, I really think it's a fitting place to finish this season. Yeah, great circuit.
Da Costa into turn 22, little slide, and goes quickest. 1 minute 22.756 for Da Costa, so 7/10 away from the quickest lap times of this morning. I mean, we're still in this morning, it's only 5 to 10.
But when you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it feels like that.
Exactly. It's 8 years of doing this, and I always still get confused how early it is. Alexander Sims is running at full power. His last race for the Mahindra team. Lucas de Grassi joining that squad next season, and Sims moving back into, or continuing to do sports car racing, GT racing and the like, and he goes to the top of the times, a 1 minute 22.678 for Sims in the Mahindra.
Yeah, since Alexander Sims sort of said, look, I'm done with FE, I'm not loving the pressure, and it is such an intense form of racing. I'm not loving the pressure, I'm just going to go do something else. It's like he's been free, and he just gets on with it, doesn't he? It's a weight off his shoulders, and he's done a great job since then.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I hadn't noted the correlation, actually. Here is Van Dorn again, coming into turn 1. Did a cool-down lap, and now we're driver's eye through turns 2 and 3.
This point here, so difficult to see the apex of the corner because of the wheel cover. We talked about it before, but actually it is true in the car. Today was the first time I've driven the Gen 2 car, and it really makes it difficult in certain circumstances to see. Between 5, 6, surface change now, then down the hill. It'll be interesting to see when this is full of people this afternoon. See the atmosphere and how it will actually change the viewpoint for the drivers as well. It'll make the the corners actually seem a little bit tighter. Through 13 now. This really tightens up in a hurry. Exit 14, car goes airborne, 15. Balance looks not bad. You can see the car sort of self-rotating towards the exit. Bumpy through this section of track.
Van Dorn half a second up in sector 1 on Alexander Sims. This is big incoming. Quick.
Oh, that was nearly a big problem. Snap of oversteer, right, we don't want it. Bit of traffic ahead, you can see the red lights. One of them gets out of the way, one of the Nissans, I think. These bumps, I was wondering, amazed how smooth the car slipped over the bumps. It's because they took them away yesterday after we'd done track walk. Looking for that braking marker. Oh, bit of lock up as soon as he touched the brake pedal. Oh, and he's got traffic too wide ahead. One of the Venturis over the bumps at the finish line.
Third quickest for Van Dorn, lost quite a lot of time in the final sector. Cassidy's on a lap as well. To be honest, everybody's on a lap currently. The timing screens are going purple all over the shop, meaning people are setting quick sector times. Cassidy now coming into turn 22. The New Zealander in the Envision. Nato goes up into third place. He was impressive in his first run of the season earlier on today. Cassidy goes quickest to 22.5. Askew goes up into sixth place. This is Antonio Felix da Costa. De Grassi goes fifth. Da Costa currently is third quickest, and he's 3/10 up on Cassidy coming into the final turn, or penultimate turn, through turn 20, then out onto Olympic Way. Down towards the final corner now. Freitz is slowing down in front of him. Is Da Costa full power? I don't think he is. Here he comes across the line.
The lights on the halo aren't working. Let's have a look. No.
No, so Da Costa goes into second place because his teammate Jean-Eric Verne has gone quickest on a 22.286. That is Sebastian Buemi in the Nissan.
The Esther Cheetahs have a little bit of a flex. There we go.
Is that a bet, or has someone dared you to get the word flex in?
No, but
I like it.
yeah, just seemed the appropriate thing to say.
Yeah, it did. 22.021 for Buemi. Gunter goes 1,000th slower than his Nissan teammate. Freitz is quicker in the first sector than the two Nissans as he comes through the stadium now, and then comes out of the stadium now. Dragon keeps out of the way. Left at 16! Hey, there's some entry oversteer for you.
That'll catch your attention. Again, you see the car leaving the ground a bit through that sector. Robin Franks flat out on the throttle though. Didn't lift off. Just as you start to brake for 20. And yeah, Robert Franks on the limit. The car gets a little bit airborne over the bumps as the tub that you sit on, the safety cell, hits the ground. The wheels come off the ground. Yeah. Franks got a bit of rush hour. One of the Porsches get out of the way, and he locks up again. It looked like he overdid the entry to 22. Where does this put him?
Quick first sector for Freitz, ends up fifth, but scrappy in sectors 2 and 3 from the Dutchman, the man from Maastricht.
I was just going to say that, Jim.
21 minutes to go. So here's a look again at Robin Freitz into the final corner.
I wonder if he was unsighted there. I've given him the benefit of the doubt. I think he might have been unsighted by the Porsche pulling out of line so late. Kind of brake discs in the front, absolutely glowing.
Speaking of Porsche, this is Pascal Wehrlein, one-off livery this weekend for the Porsches, and Wehrlein is a 10th up on Buemi after the middle sector. Out and across the line, and it is first. The quickest time of the weekend, first driver into the 1 minute 21s. Sims, half a second down after the middle sector, did a personal best in sector 1. Giovinazzi's done a good first sector. Sims has got the two Nissans ahead of him. Out of the final corner and across the line. Sims is already in 10th place and doesn't improve on that lap and snatches a break into the first corner.
Giovinazzi lost all of his time in the second sector, 6/10 down now.
He's still, that's actually still not, that could put him up into the top 7 or 8 if he has a neat and tidy final sector here.
It's good to see his form improve in London. He's really starting to get after it.
The crowd loved him.
Yeah, absolutely. The two favourites, Dennis, British, winning the race, and Giovinazzi.
But it's only 18th quickest in the end for Giovinazzi, so lost a lot of time in the middle, still lots of time in the final sector 2. Van Dorn back in the pit lane. Jean-Eric Verne, I think, has turned it up to full power. Here is the Frenchman now into the final corner, and let's see what he can do as he comes out across the line. No, maybe that was a fan boost test for Jean-Eric Verne down the back straight. So he won't be pushing this time around. So Verline, okay, Porsche looked quick in practice earlier on today also. Yeah, not in the final session, but they had a lot of purples and 3 tenths up. And
Lotzer had an issue, didn't he? And he's 22nd, and now he's, what is he, 19th just now? I don't know if he's having more issues with the Porsche. His last race weekend for the team. He's moving over to the sports car program and potentially driving for another Formula E team. There's lots of rumours right now. The Formula E driver market is, to put it, say it's on fire is probably an understatement.
The rumour mill is unbelievable. Unbelievable at the moment. Loving life. 18.5 minutes to go as Da Costa and Lothra return to the pit lane. Here is Norman Nato. 10th quickest in the first practice session, quicker than his teammate Mitch Evans, which was quite a flex.
Good use of the word. I thought Nato did a great job this morning, obviously. But he won the last race last year for the Venturi team, but they'd already signed Lucas Di Grassi, so he's been out of a full-time ride in Formula E and took the job as the reserve driver at Jaguar, with Sam Bird breaking his hand. You see Norman in the car, and I think he'll do a great job for them this weekend. But yeah, tough for Sam Bird. I mean, he's done every Formula E race up until this weekend, and as we approach race number 99 today, 100 tomorrow, he's not going to get to do them. So yeah, if you're watching Sam, he might probably still be in his bed in the UK, but get well soon, pal.
It's 2 a.m.
He's in his bed, isn't he?
Maybe he is. I wonder if Verline's getting held up here badly by Tickton. It was a good first sector for Verline. His middle sector was about a 10th away, but then that traffic cost him nearly a second. Still his quickest on the 21.723. I wonder if Bird had a special helmet. I bet he might have had a special helmet for 100th. Oh, we can still use it race 2 next year. So it's still his 100th race.
Ah, very good.
Where's that meant to be? Dirrier, isn't it?
Yeah, Dirrier race 1.
17 minutes on the clock. Here's Di Grassi at full power. Mortara has done a big first sector. Di Grassi's done a good first sector as well. Here is the Brazilian. They look quick. In fact, all Mercedes looked quick this morning, didn't they? Van Dorn was quickest, but Mortara was second fastest.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked, the powertrain working well around here. And I think they've got quite different mechanical setups to the cars, Venturi and Mercedes, but both working. That whole 17, 18 section just looks quick. Feels quick in the car too. Really, really an interesting part of the track. Not technically the most difficult, but I think rewards a wee bit of bravery.
Di Grassi across the line, he goes quickest, a 1 minute 21.661, but Mortara is about to obliterate that lap time. Is he going to get in the 20s here? Maybe not quite. Comes across the line at 21.2 for Eduardo Mortara, 4 tenths quicker than the rest of the field. He's on fire. Delphine Biscay. Jerome D'Ambrosio is here, but just not standing there at the moment.
Is it because it's so early? Yeah, I wonder where he is. Over there. Oh. Seti Camera getting held up by one of the Jaguars.
He's only a couple of tenths down in sector 1. Seti Camera compared to Mortara will get his second sector split here after 18.
Well, he committed on the entry, didn't he? Maybe hurt his exit speed from 19 up to 20, but definitely committed on the brakes into turn 19.
Out across the line. Seti Camera. No, it's not the line. Sorry. Coming into the final corner. Out across the line, and Seti Camera currently 21st, goes up to 4th, half a second away from Mortara. Big field spread at the moment, 1.7 seconds separating the top 21. In fact, it's 7 tenths back to 5th place from 1st to 5th, so quite a big gap. Evans, meanwhile, 18th. He's on a lap now.
I was going to say, give it a minute.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see how he does.
Quite, you stole the road out of 4. Absolutely up against the wall, which might put him slightly off the line for 5. What does the sector time say? That's the important bit.
Here comes the first split.
Half a tenth. Yeah. Oh, he's got traffic though, and right where there's nowhere for the Dragon to get out of the way. That's definitely compromised his lap.
Center camera. 16 for Evans. Lotterer goes him into 7th place in the Porsche with the fastest final sector of anyone, so Lotterer getting a little bit back on it. Here comes Evans now towards 19.
And you could hear the car just hammering the ground as he went through turn 18.
3 tenths down now after the middle sector.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that was the Dragon just getting in his way a bit.
Turn 20, out onto Olympic Way.
The drivers will still be building confidence through some of these quicker corners, just how much speed they can actually carry. Done a lot of simulator work, but now they know exactly how much grip each surface has got.
Evans goes 5th quickest, 7 tenths adrift, so lost 4 tenths to Mortara in the final sector. Van Dorn, oof, that looked a bit bouncy, didn't it?
Yeah, it looks like he tried to change direction when the wheels were off the ground. Got a bit interesting.
That's something we've seen so often in Formula E. Van Dorn goes into 8th place, 8 tenths away from Mortara, but you think New York in particular, when people are racing and driving and sort of moving around under braking, as Nick de Vries in particular.
Mitch Evans went in there, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was a great save by Mitch Evans. I mean, this championship could have been over right there. Got forced into basically a ditch. We've got a white flag, somebody running slowly. Yellow at turn 1.
First yellow flag of the day, I think that.
I think it is too.
13 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. This is Da Costa, who is currently 12th fastest, and he's just under 2 tenths away from Mortara in sector 1. We're into the stadium.
So smooth. You can see that it looks like the DS Tachita, the car's rolling quite a lot. That will be quite good over the bumpy parts of the track, not quite so good in the very smooth parts in the stadium, for instance. The track is clear at turn 1.
Dennis goes 6th fastest. Into 19 for Da Costa.
You'd think that as long as the straights are sort of 16 up to 19, 19 to 20, 21 to 22, when you do turn it up to 250 kilowatts, that extra 13%, it's really going to make a good difference to lap time.
Also, I wonder if that will make attack mode sort of more powerful with those long straights.
Yeah, it's going to change things today. Normally you lose so much going into attack mode, but with the way the circuit's laid out, you're not going to lose that much today taking attack mode.
Traditional mid-session jump for the Neo of Oliver Turvey, but not so good for Dan Tipton. Straight on at the first corner, and then has to work out how to get out of there and rejoin the circuit. But he managed to, in the end, hit the wall in turn 20, I think, in London in the second race, which took him out of contention. Mortara quickest, De Grassi second, Venturi 1 and 2, Verline third. Shaking of the head from Evans there as he's talking on the radio. 9th quickest at the moment, 7 tenths adrift of Mortara. De Vries getting wheeled back in. Not a huge pace from Mercedes so far in this second session. I know only 20 minutes in, but
depends what they're working on, doesn't it?
8 tenths away from Van Dorn, 1.2 seconds for De Vries.
Roger Griffiths, he was a happy man in London. First and a 4th in the first race for the Avalanche Andretti team.
There was a great weekend for Andretti. 2 poles, a win for Dennis, a 2nd place for Dennis, a 4th for Askew. Didn't kind of basically cemented their 7th place in the championship, although actually they're only 14 points behind Porsche. After the first race in London, I said, oh, you're a bit far away from Porsche, you know, you're just going to be in 7th, and Roger Griffiths was kind of like, yeah. But now all of a sudden it's very close. Like I say, 14 points away.
And 94 points on the table for the team's championship.
Yeah.
According to my math, so that could has a disclaimer on it.
Pascal Verline's race number.
Very good.
Here comes Dennis.
It's good to see Dennis's talent finally getting the platform it deserves. You know, he was after quite a decent junior career, sort of was in the wilderness a bit, and then got picked up by BMW, put into the Andretti car. I thought, oh, interesting, and he's absolutely repaid that faith many, many times over. Oh, but he's missed the apex in 2021.
He is, after the first 2 sectors, Dennis, 2 tenths adrift, did a personal best in the middle sector. Verne is 200ths up after the middle sector. You can keep an eye on his running clock down in the bottom right. Dennis remains in 9th position. Here comes the DS Techeetah driver now. Quickest. A 1 minute 21.233 for Jean-Eric Verne. 300ths away from Eduardo Mortara. Verne has to take pole position if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive, no matter how slim they are. Oh, that's a dodgy one for Mortara. Nato pootling around on the racing line, and that was not ideal. Coming into 19.
Wash the hands. Nice catch of Oversteer in the mirror. Did he gesticulate though? Yeah, now he's making sure that if Nato's coming alongside, he's going to feed him into the wall. At least that's what I would probably do.
Ticktum through the stadium section. 22nd quickest currently. Heads out now towards turn 16. His teammate Oliver Turvey jumped up to 7th place a few laps ago. It's Ticktum now. Comes towards turn 19. Neat and tidy for Ticktum. Middle sector split. He's 0.8 of a second away, so this will be slower than Turvey's lap time.
He's taken the express lane there, passing all the traffic.
Out onto Olympic Way. Into the final corner at turn 22.
Smashing the ground. It does that in a number of places throughout the lap, and again, with the driver sitting in the safety cell, there's a wooden plank underneath him, and it's just hammering the ground.
Ticktum goes up into 14th place. Here is Pascal Wehrlein. Currently 5th quickest, and he is on a lap now, coming into the stadium section. His teammate Andre Lotterer is doing a push lap too, as Wehrlein comes through the right, and then the right, and into the right, and then through the right.
And possibly another right.
Just one more, then swings it left. His first sector for Wehrlein is 300ths up on Jean-Eric Verne. Lotterer is on a lap as well, as you can see on the bottom right. Oi.
Snap oversteer right where the exit, of course, that's where the wall meets. If you hit that today, it's going to cause some serious damage to the right rear of the car. You've got to be so careful. Big entry speed into 19 for Pascal Wehrlein.
Some commitment, but he's a little away from Jean-Eric Verne after the middle sector.
Tidy there. Boy, but has he found the limit through that sector?
He's right up to the wall all the time. Final corner on the circuit for Pascal Wehrlein. 3rd. 21.271. 400ths away from Jean-Eric Verne. Degrassi back in the pit lane. Him and Mortara waiting to head out. Lotterer's first sector, by the way, is 7/10 away. His middle sector is 1.3 seconds away. So this isn't a stellar lapping coming from Lotterer, but it must have been some kind of mistake in sector 1, I would have thought, with those kind of sectors. Most of the other teams are in the pits at the moment, so Lotterer and Wehrlein and the Porsche team running a slightly different strategy. Here comes Lotterer, and so yeah, 16th doesn't improve on that lap, so tricky one for the German.
The trick is to put it all together when it counts in qualifying, but again, if it rains and qualifying is cancelled because of the depth of the rain, then this is qualifying. So you need to, I would say, next 6 minutes, Lotterer's got to go out there and, as everybody does, got to put a lap in. See Buemi looking at the dash, changing settings, talking to his engineer. The visor port is pretty small on that helmet. Looks cool, looks really cool, but...
Here's a look at Pascal Wehrlein coming through turn 16.
Oh, this was the up against them. Oh, well done, Wehrlein.
Love it.
That was mighty. And again, that camera is in the middle of the nose. So you see, it looks a lot further away from the wall than it was. Oh, Stoffel van Dorn. Yeah, still nearly a second off.
15th quickest, 9/10 away.
Is he starting a lap though? He's in turn 21. Is
he
winding up to go?
Might be doing an out and then a prep. Oh, he's coming back into the pits. This is interesting.
New set of tyres maybe.
15th and 19th for Van Dorn and De Vries. Verne is quickest, Mortara second.
And if you said, oh, well, he was quickest in the first session, that was 22.000, which puts him 11th quickest. That's not going to get it done, so he needs to do a lap here.
Yeah, he's only a tenth slower. Well, sorry, he is a tenth slower than he managed this morning. So it is going to be a tyre change for the Mercedes EQ. And then out and setting a lap time. Again, we are, I mean, happily, it's 10:15. It's not raining yet, but it does really seem as though there's some rain coming in.
Yellow. Nope, track is clear. Turn 20. It was a yellow turn 20. Yeah, according to my weather app. Yeah. 11:15. The thunderstorms are coming.
Yeah. So that's in 1 hour from now, and so there's a chance that this could decide the grid. It may not, and hopefully it won't. But
if it's a little bit of rain, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's a deluge like we saw earlier in the week, that will be a problem. That would be a problem for any car, but with the Formula E car, with using tyres that... Sims left rear damage.
Sims has hit the car on the left rear, and that could be the end of the session.
Now, has he hit it, or has the wheel just come off?
Well, but whatever the answer, that could be the end of the session. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go, and we'll see whether Scott Elkins may just kind of keep it there. But it's a pit entry, so we'll see what Scott decides to do with 3 minutes on the clock.
Well, I mean, even if he does keep the session going, the drivers are going to have to slow down for the yellow flag zone, or they'll get a penalty, so it's pointless running. So, crikey. And just like that.
Sims saying there's too much damage, he can't make it back to the pit, so that suggests he has hit the wall. And there was that brief yellow, wasn't there, at 19?
Yeah, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But just like that, if you are... You know, if you're Stoffel Van Dorn, you're now 16.
Oh, what was that smoke from one of the Mahindras at the back getting all out of shape? So here we go. Oh, he's wide, Sims.
Yeah, he's hit it at an angle. You see it straight.
Tiny little tap.
Team managers. There's a car stopped, drivers right in between turn 21 and 22. Yellow flags are displayed. Please respect the flags. I'm going to leave him there until the end of the session to get the clean session, and then we will most likely cancel the practice start.
But again, that's if you're Van Dorn, you're in.
So you can't set your lap time. Everyone will know you can't improve on the back straight, but you can still get your last lap in terms of just knowledge and it being under your belt, but I don't think we'll see any improvements.
So now Van Dorn's saying, please don't rain. Please don't rain, or don't rain heavily.
So Van Dorn.
You saw Van Dorn look over, he's looking, how much damage has that car got?
Exactly. So if qualifying is rained off, then Van Dorn would start 16th on the grid, and Verne would be on pole, and he would get 3 points, and that would keep him in championship contention. He would still need to win the race and have Van Dorn score no points, and then do the same thing tomorrow. There is the weather. It's coming in from the west here in South Korea,
as it normally does. Did we have
we had this discussion in London? Yeah. I didn't realise all weather goes west to east.
Yeah, most of it does.
Is that just the way the wind blows? Anyway, I don't know. We don't need to get bogged down in meteorology. Not this time in the morning. Not this time in any morning.
We might this afternoon.
Yeah, that's very true. We might have nothing else to talk about. But hopefully, and also, it's worth saying, here comes Van Dorn through first sector.
Yeah, he's 6/10 down.
6/10 down in sector 1. It's worth saying the amount of times... Oh, red flag. Red flag then, and the session comes to a halt. So Sims
okay, guys, I'm sorry, that session got screwed because we had 2 cars stopped at the same time, so I apologize for that.
Second car.
We will not restart the session because we don't have time to extend. I apologize.
Has stopped.
So we saw an Envision all on the dirt coming out of turn 20. It was 20, yeah. So whether
2021, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so whether Cassidy's in the wall. But he's stopped on circuit somewhere in the first sector, I think. He stopped in the first sector, Nick Cassidy. But anyway, session will not restart. So Verne quickest, Mortara second, Verline third, 4th Degrassi, 5th Askew, 6th Cassidy, 7th Turvey, 8th Facete Camera. Cassidy has got going again now then, but he was stopped in the first sector for a while, but now he's got going. Has he got damage? To that left rear? Maybe not, but here we go. the Envision. Look at the... Here he comes across the line. Oh, and then he just kind of grinds to a halt. Does he? Getting out of the way of everybody, and then, yeah, just coming to a stop. But I'm sure at turn 20...
Oh, interesting. It looks like he pulled over to help it and didn't go.
Yeah.
It's not a nice position to be in.
Oh, and that caused, honestly, Lotterer to go straight on.
Yeah, unsighted. You see the damage to the left rear. Alexander Sims's Mahindra.
It's also worth saying that in my, I don't know, many years, 10 years, well, maybe not, but a lot of years of commentating on motorsport, and the amount of times I've got excited about FP2 could decide the grid, I don't think it ever has. In all the times I've been watching it, oh my God, it's going to rain. Oh, no,
so
no,
tune
no,
in for qualifying, coming up next.
Exactly. So I think it's one of those where you always have to be prepared and think it's going to happen, but it hasn't so far.
Yeah, that's what the team is
Even
doing.
with, was it Storm Hagibis at the Japanese Grand Prix a few years ago? Everyone thought, oh, the quali won't happen. And then it does.
Remember this stuff?
Well, because I don't know.
Stephen Lane, Stoffel Van Dorn's engineer, they were, in a perfect world, they'd have been quick at the session. That's not the way it works. So but they're not in trouble by any stretch of the imagination. Got a good lead in the championship. Talking about the details.
I guess the thing with Van Dorn is it's whether the car feels okay or not. You know, because if it's like, oh, just didn't get the lap in, whatever, it's not a disaster. But there you can see the cloud coming in. Oh, probability of rain up to 72% now. As we look over the Olympic Stadium, that's sort of to the southwest. Now we're going a bit more west. And there's the baseball stadium, and there's the Olympic Stadium. Wonderful, wonderful city, this. Loving it.
It is cool. The Olympic Stadium, I mean, normally I go sort of, oh, you know, what's above the wall doesn't count, and it's all about the track and everything. I walked in that stadium yesterday morning and went, wow.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
That's impressive.
Were you having a look at when you were driving? Were you looking around?
No, actually. Yeah, kept my eyes on the prize, i.e. not crashing the car.
Well, let's see how Mercedes feel about that session. Not looking that quick. Ian James is with Darren.
Ian, P16 for Stoffel Van Dorn. What happened out there?
Yeah, it was a messy session for us. We saw in FP1 that we had some decent pace, which was great. In FP2 with Stoffel, it was just bad timing, unfortunately. So with the car that was stopped just outside the pit lane entry, meant that we couldn't do a fast lap. And then, of course, the session got red flagged anyway. So missed an opportunity. It's one of the risks you take when you go out a little bit later than everybody else. So it is what it is.
And what do you think is going to happen with the weather?
That is the question that I think is on everybody's minds at the moment. It looks like we can expect some rain coming in for the start of qualifying. Hopefully some light rain, not too heavy, and we can have a decent qualifying session.
Amazing. Well, wishing you all the best for qualifying. Thank you.
So there we go. So they're expecting a little of light rain for the start of qualifying. Well, they say
they're hoping
it's light rain at the start of qualifying. So Ian James there, the team principal at Mercedes. So, free practice 2, Jean-Eric Verne quickest, the top 3 separated by less than 0.04 of a second, but Mortara up there as well, Degrassi 4th, Oliver Askew ended up 5th quickest in that session, Cassidy, Turvey in 7th, Sede Camera in 8th, quite a jumble of a session to be perfectly honest. Jake Dennis in 10th, Giovinazzi up into 11th place, both Dragon Penske Autosports in the top 11. Evans 12th, Van Dorn 16th, Lotterer 17th, De Vries 19th, and the two Mahindras in 21st and 22nd. Norman Nato, after looking impressive in free practice 1, a little further off the pace in free practice 2. But all of the teams and drivers will have been running different strategies during that session ahead of qualifying. What are we going to see in qualifying? That's the big question. Lotterer straight into his debrief. But yeah, interested. This is so interesting. if there's a bit of rain in qualifying and Evans is not looking, Evans hasn't looked on the pace now. Half a second off in free practice 1, 7/10 off in free practice 2. Those are big chunks, aren't they? I know only free practice 2, only free practice 1, blah, blah, blah. People didn't get a lap in, there was a red flag, etc., etc.
He's got the quickest sector of anybody through sector 1. Let's see what he's saying. So this is the point where he's talking to his engineer, Joseph, and saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You need to make the car do that. Or if he's not, the engineer should be saying, what do you need to go quicker? How do we fix this? How do we stay in contention?
Warm conditions here in Seoul. Mortara ended both sessions second fastest, so he's in a pretty good looking position.
And he's on the intercom system. Just takes away distraction. Everybody's on the same, and I'm sure even back at base the team will be plugged into that whole conversation just now.
And it means you sort of don't talk over each other as well, right? That's another big bonus of it.
Yeah, precisely right, Jack. I mean, you were in Nashville last weekend, you were on our intercom system listening in with the Ganassi team.
Do not press the red button was the...
Please, Jack, do not press the red button.
Exactly. So, Mortara, second fastest in that session. And actually, for the last 5 races, Mortara has won Fan Boost. And he's up there in second place again, is Edo. You can vote online at fiaformulae.com/fanboost or scan the QR code on the right-hand side to give your favourite driver a power boost in the second half of the race. So Van Dorn up there, Mortara up there, Evans up there, De Costa up there, and De Grassi up there too. Only Jean-Eric Verne isn't in those top 5 of the championship contenders. Lucas De Grassi skipping. Free practice 2, Stoffel Van Dorn, quickest in FP1, and was straight out on the circuit when the second session began, but never quite showed the pace that he did in the first 30 minutes of running here in Seoul. Robin Franks was pushing and locking up and getting loose and getting leery. Pascal Wehrlein lost a lot of time behind Dan Tipton at the final corner in the Neo. Wehrlein did manage to end the session third, quickest though. Dan Tipton, a couple of laps later, went straight on at turn 1. Finished the session 15th fastest. Nato got in the way of Eduardo Mortara, while Mortara was on a push lap. And it was second fastest in the end for the Italian-Swiss racer. Alexander Sims hit the wall on the exit of turn 21. Cassidy lost throttle. Lotterer lost the apex as he tried to make his way through. But it was Jean-Eric Verne, the man with a very tiny, tiny outside chance of winning the championship, who ended free practice 2 fastest. So, qualifying coming up, and we do not have to wait long for it. 11:30 local time here in Korea. So 1 hour from now, we will be going on air. Jake Dennis, 10th fastest in that session, but Jean-Eric Verne quickest, and how he would love to convert it. But how much will the weather change in the next 60 minutes? That's going to be the question on everybody's mind ahead of the season finale here in Seoul.